Hey, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to cut through all the noise about financial planning. We're talking about how to find someone you can actually trust to guide you, someone who's got your back when it comes to building a secure future.
This is probably the most important financial question you can ever ask. I mean, let's be real. The world of financial advice can feel like this super dense fog, right? You've got all these confusing titles, people giving you conflicting advice. It's a lot. Getting this wrong can be really costly, but getting it right, that can change your entire life. So let's start clearing that fog.
Okay, so here's something a lot of people get wrong. They think anyone who calls themselves a financial planner is certified, but that's just not true. A certified financial planner professional is held to a much higher standard. They have to commit to acting in your best interest, they've proven their knowledge, and they have years of experience. But for someone just calling themselves a financial planner without that CFPR certification, well, none of that is required. And believe me, that difference is absolutely crucial.
All right, so let's piece this puzzle together, shall we? It really just comes down to knowing what sets a true pro apart from the rest of the pack and what letters you should actually be looking for after their name.
So, a CFP professional, they have to nail what's known as the 4 E's. First up is education. They need a bachelor's degree. Then there's the examination. They've got to pass this massive, comprehensive exam that's all about real-world situations. Next is experience. We're talking a minimum of 2 years of actual professional experience. And finally, and this is a big one, ethics. They have to commit to the highest ethical standards. See? It's a tough process, and for a very good reason.
So what's the payoff for all that hard work and high standards? Well, it's this. A staggering 97% of people who work with a CFP professional trust them to give top-notch advice. I mean, think about that. That kind of trust isn't just handed out, it's earned.
All right, moving on. We're about to hit the single most important idea in all of financial advice, the fiduciary standard. Seriously, if you only remember one thing from today, make it this.
Now, fiduciary might sound like some complicated legal term, but it's really simple. It's a promise. Every CFP professional makes this promise, which means they are legally and ethically required to put your best interests first, always. It's the huge difference between someone just trying to sell you a product and someone who's genuinely on your team.
Okay, so how can you know for sure if the person you're talking to is a real fiduciary? Easy. You give them a little test. Just ask these 3 simple questions. First, will you put it in writing that you're a fiduciary at all times? Second, can you list out all of your conflicts of interest? And third, will you give me an annual summary of all my costs and expenses? And here's the bottom line, the absolute deal breaker. If they squirm or hesitate or just won't agree to all 3 of those things, you've got your answer. You just thank them for their time, stand up, and walk right out the door. A true fiduciary won't even blink at saying yes to all 3. Okay, so now we know who to look for. Let's talk about how this whole thing should actually work. Because, great financial planning isn't about chasing the highest stock market returns. Nope. It's about funding your life. It's about hitting your most important goals.
I love this quote because it gets at a really powerful shift in thinking called goals-based wealth management. It completely flips the script on how we think about risk. See, the real risk isn't just the market going up and down. The real risk is the chance that you won't be able to achieve your dreams. Buying that dream house or retiring without a worry in the world. And the science behind why this works it's just fascinating. We all have these 2 systems in our brain for thinking, right? There's our fast, emotional System 1 brain that totally freaks out when the market drops. And then there's our slow, logical System 2 brain. A goals-based plan is designed to help us use that logical brain to stay the course, to keep us from making those gut reaction, emotional decisions that can completely wreck our future.
So this whole approach is about building your financial plan around what truly matters to you and your family. And a really cool way to visualize this is to think of your wealth as a pyramid, where each level is dedicated to a specific life goal.
Okay, so at the very bottom, the foundation of this pyramid, you have your absolute must-haves, your personal lifestyle. You protect this part of your portfolio with the safest, lowest risk investments. Then, as you move up, maybe in the middle, you have what you could call dynastic goals, like leaving a legacy for your family. You can take a little more risk there. And then, way up at the top, you've got your aspirational or philanthropic goals. That's where you can afford to take the biggest risks because, hey, if they don't pan out, it's not going to mess up your day-to-day life.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great on paper, but does a disciplined, goals-based, diversified plan actually make a difference in the real world? Well, let's take a look at what 50 years of data has to say about that.
This study is incredible, really. Researchers looked at 26 different 25-year periods of retirement. They started with a hypothetical portfolio of $250,000 and tracked what happened to the median balance after someone made regular withdrawals for 25 years. Let's see the showdown between playing it safe with all cash versus having a disciplined, balanced plan.
So after 25 years, the portfolio that was just sitting in cash, the median balance was a little over $70,000. But get this, the worst part is that it completely ran out of money. It went to zero in 38% of the cases they looked at. So much for playing it safe, right? It was actually the riskiest thing you could do.
Okay, now for the flip side. Compare that to a classic 60-40 portfolio. That's 60% stocks, 40% bonds. After the exact same 25 years of withdrawals, from the same starting point, the median ending balance was, wait for it, over $1.2 million. It didn't just survive, it absolutely thrived.
When you see it laid out like this, the difference is it's staggering. A diversified, long-term plan that gets rebalanced every year just blows an emotional, fear-driven approach out of the water. This is the power of having a real strategy versus just reacting to headlines.
So let's recap. We know we need a qualified fiduciary we can trust, and we know we need a plan that's built around our personal goals. So, how do you actually get started? Let's map out the very first steps.
Look, a true professional isn't just going to throw a few stock tips at you. They're going to walk you through this official 7-step process. It all starts with them really getting to know you, your circumstances, your goals. From there, they'll analyze where you are now and then develop recommendations tailored just for you. Then, they help you put that plan into action and, this part is so important, they monitor it over time to make sure you stay on track. It's a real, comprehensive, ongoing relationship.
And this is what it's all for. A great financial plan with a true professional as your guide becomes your personal roadmap. It takes that confusing, dense fog of financial complexity and turns it into a clear path forward. It gives you confidence and it gives you control over your future.
So, in the end, choosing the right advisor, it's about so much more than just money, isn't it? It's really about choosing the co-author for the next and hopefully the best chapter of your life story. The only question left is, who are you going to trust to help you write it?